Hey, good evening, all. How's it going? Welcome to Cosmic Blueprints. I'm your host tonight, Kate of Gaia. Tony's got a little bit of an errand to do tonight, and just waiting for everyone to show up. I'm here by myself right now. Anyway, yeah, it's been quite a week, I think. Lots of energies going around everywhere, and lots of tornadoes, and we do our best not to get caught up in them, of course. But lo and behold, some storms just get a little bit wider than we like, and that's okay. That's okay. We're in a zone right now of a lot of intense energy, and I don't even think I need to start explaining that to anyone because I know so many of us are experiencing it right now. And so, really, what we all need to do is take a deep, deep breath and pace ourselves, observe, and don't get involved. So that's kind of been the game plan for for quite a while with me, and it's going to stay that way. Hello, Cyndi. Looks like we have Cyndi on board. Yay!
Hi, Kate. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, so I'm on the board going, where is everybody? That's okay.
Yes, I had to go tend to a sick child and give her another dose of some of that food-grade hydrogen peroxide and get her situated. It's working really well with her, along with the pure mineral solution that I got from Spirit Dancer. It's just bringing all that infection up, and she kind of made me giggle earlier today. She said, "Why is it green?" I said, "That's the infection, and it's pulling all this good stuff is pulling the bad stuff out of your chest." So, and now it's just coming out by the pounds, I guess. It's just unbelievable.
Coming out in buckets.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of times people think that they start on a program and they get feeling shitty and their bodies get overwhelmed and they in some cases get quite sick. That is just a measure of the toxins that were in you that are getting pushed out, and it's your body getting rid of it, and that does require some effort. So you can't expect to spend a lifetime filling your body full of poison and it's gone in 5 minutes and you feel great about it. No, that's not how it works. No pain, no gain. Now,
I had something I wanted to bring to your attention too. I'm not sure if you're aware of this yet, but Miranda just posted a picture on my wall.
I was just going to announce that right now.
Yes, please, everyone,
yeah.
send energy to Miranda. Her dog is gone missing. She says, anyone in Sherwood Estate area of Tunbridge, did I say that right? Tunbridge Wells, Kent?
Yep, you got it.
Please help my dog Ruby was lost today at 4 p.m. At the back of the, here, you say it, Kate. You probably know those names much better than I do.
She was lost today at 4 p.m. at the back of the Odeon Cinema near the Wincanton Yard. She could have been anywhere from the industrial estate, Greenway and Gregswood, right up to Blackhurst Lane, and even as far as Pembury, and I hope to God not near the A21. That's a major highway, by the way, guys. She ran off after a deer. Please be on the lookout. Many thanks. TW685957. That would be your tag. She is a mainly black dog with a striking white head and a funny little black hat on top of her head. She has very distinctive eyes, one blue one and one brown one. Please look out for her. She is 14 months old and shaped like a sheepdog, but a bit smaller. Many, many thanks. Ruby will be home momentarily, hun. Universe says so.
And anybody listening, her picture is on my wall, the first post, and I'm assuming Kate's on your wall too.
It's on my wall too. So on my Facebook, if you want to get to it, kate.rene.5, kate.rene.5. And yours, Cyndi?
I'm sorry, say that again. My Facebook is just Songbird, I believe. My name is Cyndi Leberman, Lebermann. First name I spell Cyndi. Or you can just go to facebook.com/songbird, and the O is a 0. Yes, let's just send her lots of love and hope that Ruby gets found awfully quick.
Yeah, it won't be too long. And I just made area code 77584 number live. I'm assuming that's you, Tom?
It is. Hi, guys.
Hi, Tom.
Hi. I'm just typing away at, I'm just getting to the calls of action part, and I've already got everything else done. And on this document, I tried to get it knocked out so I could attach it. Everybody could see it, but it's not quite ready yet. I don't want to send anything out there without it being absolutely complete, because people have a tendency to jump the gun, and we don't want that to happen, especially when this is so powerful. This is
so powerful and so important. You definitely want to make sure you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's.
Well, at least
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, from the perspective of the spirituality, Tom, once you have manifested into the universe, it's already here. And this is the one thing that I will be drilling at until everyone gets it. You have already changed the world with your thought. The physical manifestation that comes after is only it being put into action, and it is perfect every single time. You changed the world, so thank you.
Well, that's good. Now I want to see some evidence of the change.
Well, isn't it interesting to note that I got an email today, right after our show the other night. Let me just, I'm going to bring it up, and it's just a little resonant. It was sent in by Patrice. Thank you, Patrice. Always sends in these beautiful little juicy emails. Let me see. Here. It was a clean water penalty thing. This, you might already know about this, Tom, but I thought I'd share this with you. And, okay, let me see. Get this open up. I'm not really a big fan of Gmail, the way it works. But anyway, it's great, don't get me wrong, but it's just totally different than I'm used to. Anyway, the Transocean is to pay a record $1 billion in civil penalties and $400 million in criminal fines. I mean, this is a joke anyway, drop in the bucket for these guys, but violating the Clean Water Act, and to pay a total of $1.4 billion. They've agreed to plead guilty to it, and so it's in civil and criminal fines, penalties for its conduct in relation to Deepwater Horizon disaster. Department of Justice announced today, and again, the only joke that I find about, they talk about these fines and whatever. Who are the fines getting paid to? They get paid to the courts. So the courts are still only embellishing their own courts. But the point is, it's just to let you know that the resonance of the universe works, and that, system, we know where the money goes. You'll charge all your fines and whatever, and then you put it in your own pocket. That money will never see the Gulf. Just letting everyone know that. So if you're going to make lawsuits or pay fines, whatever, all you're doing is generating money for the system within. So this is one of the reasons why people really need to get that the whole legal system is fraud. So that's why I have really nothing to do with it. It's about getting the ethereal message out to let them know that we've caught on to you on the higher realms, and you have to change your way. That's universal law. That's the only law I stand under.
Yeah.
Well, so what you're saying is the fine for the criminal goes to the courts?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Where else is it going to go?
Of course, the civil will go to the plaintiff.
And the plaintiff is probably some corporation that's owned by a court somewhere, namely a city or a bunch of people sitting around in a council, and they'll divvy it up and have some fun with it. It will never go to benefit the people, is what I'm saying. It will only go to benefit those within their own little, the law society, their society versus ours. So I just want to make that point very clear to people, that when you see these record fines against banks and whatever else, all it's doing is going right back to the bank. Fundamentally, it goes back to our corporate crown, which is the bank. So it's just feeding itself, and they're laughing all the way to their own bank.
Tom, I have a question that just was asked in my messages. Gentleman Derek, he wants to know what would be the alternative from using sewers then? What's the alternative?
Well, the alternative has to be the best available demonstrated alternative, let's see, BADCAT, B-A-D-C-A-T. It's best available demonstrated control alternative technology as is defined in 33.13.16a, that whatever that best technology is the alternative that's mandated, and it's non-discretional to the administrator, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, and of course the state and its political subdivisions. And that alternative happens to be the one that I developed, and it's known as the Reclamator. Currently, we developed this and acquired 9 patents on it through the 90s, almost 40 some odd international patents that we also acquired and we're sustaining. But as soon as we made this technology available, the EPA boycotted it because it was mandated by the Clean Water Act.
Yeah, it worked. They hate things that work.
Yeah, they do. Not to cut you off, guys. Santos about to join us. I just wanted to let you know Santos Bonacci is about to come into the call. So continue, please. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm sorry. I was just going to try to explain. People just don't really have enough. They just, I get this all the time. It's just automatic response. Whoa, why wouldn't they want that? Well, it's because they, the United States Corporation, are not a government looking out for our best interest. They are a co-corporation of the City of London, which, by the way, that was a good, some good links you sent out, Kate, that explains where all this is coming from. But they're a co-corporation of the City of London, which is all corrupt. It's all utility, and they're here to make money off of the world's largest industry, which is the United States wastewater utility sewer industry, which has been unlawful as defined in 1365F, explains it's been unlawful to not implement at-source control, which is required to contain and control these 65 toxic pollutants that are making us sick, giving us skin diseases, internal diseases, bone diseases. Acidity is the worst pollutant there is a pH level less than 7.5. People don't think much about pH, but it's the bad one. It creates the environment for all the other toxins to work. But the reason they don't want it is, number one, they want to keep on poisoning us. They don't want to contain and control the toxic pollutants from getting into our drinking water, migrating, cause water and other environmental pollution to occur. But they also don't want to lose that revenue, because if the water, the sewage is controlled and contained and reclaimed and reused at the source, it does not leave the property, and therefore there can be no sewer fee. There can be no sewers.
Can I share something in this as well, Tom? And it was something that came across my mind and came across my desk. Oh, Santos just joined us. I'll make his mic hot. Not sure what triggered it. Maybe you guys can help me on this one. But you see, when you'd mentioned about it all being about the sewers in the City of London, and I went back to my historical aspects, and I thought, yeah, well, it's Rome, and of course you had the aqueducts, which in Rome they're lined with lead, which was poisoning people, whatever. But one of the things that I thought of in regards to the Great Plague of London and what have you was what they're doing in an ethereal sense, this is a resonant thought that I got. In the ethereal sense, what they're doing by putting sewers in, they're gathering all of our life force, our urine, and they're coalescing it and controlling it. And they're steering it wherever they want it to go. And, of course, where are the sewers? In the dark. And
right.
I saw a major connection from the spirit and life, pure life, and I have to thank Miranda for bringing this to the table, because everything matters, and I was trying to see how all these pieces fit together. You know, why the urine therapy, why this, why that, why the other, and then, of course, you bring the piece of the puzzle of the Clean Water Act, and I thought, what a perfect way to control people. I'm not even aware of it, because contained within our urine is the very life essence of everything we are. And that's why we need to loop it instead of putting it. Literally, when you're peeing in their sewer system, you're granting them control on a very deep level. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that across while you were talking about that.
Right, and I'll share a little fact with you about the urine. Once the urine is introduced into the H2O water, and it's allowed to set to go. I've got this explained in the National Clean Water Standards of Performance and Regulations that we wrote. But I believe it's 3 hours. After 3 hours, it converts to a toxic ammonia, a high-level ammonia, NH3, I believe it is. And then that ammonia then converts to a high-level carcinogen, which is NO3, which is nitrate. And so once it's introduced into water, H2O, it becomes extremely toxic, and that's what they want. They want that to migrate to whatever water. Eventually, everything that you flush will make it to some water body, either whether it percolates down through the ground, and nitrates, the carcinogenic nitrate, is not removed by soil. It doesn't filter out. It stays in solution, and also the ammonia produced is extremely toxic to aquatic life, much more so than us. It's extremely toxic to aquatic life. So that's why our shorelines are being destroyed, and of course our fish. We're losing a lot of our aquatic life as a result. But they're all about money, steal, kill, and destroy. The community right here, Los Osos, that we came here to get that project. These people have been fighting these guys, and they're just imposing this sewer on them, and it's clear right in the Clean Water Act that is unlawful. The sewer is unlawful. But when you have the judges, all the bar members, the bar is established, and the civil engineers, and they all work together, and they control the courts, it's really hard to get any justice to stop it. So, it's like you're saying, as long as it's in their courts, they're going to continue to operate and control. We have a hope that we're able to move into a different type of court soon, be a court of the people, a common law court of record, to where we go into the district court in a contract, and we provide our own magistrates. We provide our own when we file to open the case, or to prepare to open a case, or to hear a case, we let them know up front the people that are going to be the jurors set on the jury. Foreign agents are not going to be allowed into the room. So that keeps unless they're going to be on the wrongdoer side being prosecuted. But it's money. It's a $500 billion a year industry just in the United States. It's the largest industry in the world. $500 billion a year. So it's crazy. Yeah, I was thinking after watching one of those YouTubes today, where they have, what did it say, like the percentage of appliances that are manufactured in prisons. Watched this YouTube on the Prison Planet or whatever it was today, and a tremendous amount of household appliances are being manufactured now in prisons by prisoners in the United States. And I don't doubt that, because General Electric is right there in bed with them. So I was wondering if that's what they wanted to do, is to get the Reclamator appliance manufactured in prison. But no, they don't want that technology at all, because they really came down on me pretty hard for about 10 years after we proved the technology through the National Sanitation Foundation technology evaluation that they did. But then about 2005, when they learned that we figured out how to generate electricity with it also, that's when they've really have come down on Jeff and I, and they're coming at us with these bogus charges. So we're just looking to see what we can do about that, and trying to fight back best we can. I believe one way to fight back is to create a way that everyone in America can gain an economic benefit from taking action against a straw man who is an agent of the United States that is required to administer Clean Water Contingency Program, and they've refused to do it. So anyway, we're hopeful. We got to fight back. We got to take them out before they take us out. And that's basically our motto. We got to take them out before they take us out.
Yep. It looks like Sandy's called in as well. Excellent. Sandy?
Hi.
There you are.
Hi, Sandy.
I'm here. Hi. I'll get this Skype thing figured out one of these days.
It's all good. It's all good, kiddo. Yeah. Again, you bring up very, very important points, Tom. And one of the things that I'm stressing to everyone out there is we all have our roles to play. We all have our particular tactic that we can use. And as long as truth is the focus, peace, love, truth, and honor, you can do whatever you want to maintain that. So, and I know we have Santo on the line here too. Santo, just want to make sure you're there.
Yeah, how you going?
Good to have you, my friend.
Yeah, great to be here.
Hello, Santo.
Hey, how are you, Cyndi? Hey, Sandra. Hey, Tom. Nice to
Hi.
Yeah, nice to hear this. Greg, your friend Greg, I forget his surname, but he's the one that introduced me to all this information about 6 months ago. And he called me yesterday and told me you'd be on this call. So, now how do you say his surname? Greg, I'm so embarrassed, I should know, but...
Greg Vanderpass?
Yeah, that's it.
Uh-huh.
Not that it means anything, but just so that we know we're talking about the same guy, you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Hi, Greg. How are you doing, Greg? I didn't even realize you were here.
Is Greg on?
I thought that was him.
No.
Okay, okay, I see what happened.
Yeah, okay. No, I thought that I asked Cyndi what the number was. I thought it might have been Greg calling, but it was Sandy.
Okay, yeah. And for a second, Tom, you didn't sound like Tom. Okay.
Well, it's great that people are learning. This is not something that most folks would learn on their own, and most of my career, the last thing anyone wanted to talk about was where it went after they flushed. They could care less.
Yeah, well, now that you mention that, when I asked you the prior question earlier, I believe I only caught half of the answer. I got interrupted by my niece for a second. But so as far as the process of your device, can you explain how it processes the feces?
How technologically how it works?
Yes, please. A couple of people are asking that. From what I understand, I only caught the parts about the urine. So if you did touch on that, I apologize. Can you go through that again?
Sure. Yeah, it's basically the reclamator, and I'll give out the website where you can actually go view a KSBY TV interview that they came out and did, so you can get a good view of what it looks like. And I have everything, kind of things generally you don't have to expose, but I had everything exposed, but because I was doing experiments and testing on it. So, but it utilizes the three basic processes that are used to treat water, and it's physical, chemical, and biological. When we basically the biological aspect of it is what is where the key is, because we developed a brand new biological process that developed an unsteady state acclimated biomass. In other words, all other processes provide air pretty much consistently. We provided it to where we would provide oxygen, and then we would take it away. So we'd have like a couple of hours of aeration, and then a couple of hours without aeration. And during those couple of hours, we continued to allow the influence source, which is the carbon source, to go into the reactor, and then we divert it down into the biomass, where the biomass becomes automatically just acclimate to stripping the nitrate from the nitrogen molecule, the NO3. They strip the O3 from the N, whereas N then marries with another N and it surfaces and goes into the atmosphere. It's nitrogen. So that right there is how we accomplish our denitrification. And also, we get the inherent recovery of the pH within the reactor. So that's a physical, chemical. We have a physical filter that we have if the water is going to be reused reused above ground. We incorporate this particular membrane. It's very much like a reverse osmosis membrane, an RO membrane that would be in your reverse osmosis water filter. It's very similar to that. And it has a special design that prevents any passage of any disease-causing pathogens. No viruses or disease-causing pathogens can pass through. So instead of killing them with introducing another toxin into the water, chlorine, you have a physical process that absolutely prevents them from passing. So that's the goal, is to be able to keep all the toxins out, reclaim it, and reestablish the physical, chemical, biological integrity of the water. But I believe when people realize the economic benefit, all of a sudden their interest in this is going to peak.
Oh, I believe so. I do believe so. Another question that was asked, Tom, and thank you for that explanation. It's very fascinating. is what is the status that you present yourself when you go into the courtroom with this?
Well, depends on if you're going in as a plaintiff. I mean, I've been in the courtrooms in multiple. You know, they started taking me in before I even knew anything. You know, before I'd learned any of this. I found you guys as a result of searching for a way to get out of that quicksand. Once you get in it, it's just how to get out of it. And my status, the highest status there is the status of a man. And that's what I present myself as now, a man.
Yeah, the living status is where you need to be. And you have extra tools now as to how to expose the ruse of the fraud of how they've tried to convince everybody that they're less than that. So again, it's about pieces of puzzles that get put together, and the more truth we throw at them, that the bigger the system shatters into smaller pieces.
Yeah, we have one of our friends is he's trying to establish his own common law court. In filing in the district court, and they don't know what to do with him. He's not using any of their rules, regulations. He's not a plaintiff. He's a prosecutor. Cyndi had an opportunity to talk with him, and Carl. I don't know if any of you have had an opportunity to hear from Carl.
Is that Carl Lentz?
Lentz, right.
Yep, mm-hmm. I know of him. Yep. He's a smart man, that one.
Yeah, he is. He's a smart man, and he's come a long way, but I haven't talked to him the last few days. But the first thing they did, all they could do is just put a stay on his case, and we had a district court, the United States District Court magistrate, put a stay on his case, and now he's trying to let them know that this entity did not have any authority or jurisdiction to do anything, make any orders or rulings to stop his case. So it's going to be interesting as to what to do there. Once we figure out a way to get around these guys, and there again, I believe it's money. I believe it's money motivated. They're extremely money motivated, and if they see that there's something in it for them, then I believe they're going to break away from the union conspiracy of the United States wastewater industry. I believe that's going to become secondary. And they'll enable us to go ahead with our prosecutions, provided there's something in it for them. Because they're just a private corporation. They're just a company wanting to do business and make money. So they're not about law and order and in the best interest of the people in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, it's to present yourself. A man is the highest authority. If you're a defendant, you have to figure out how to convert, and there's a lot of different thoughts on that, too. You don't want to counterclaim. Carl says you file your own claim. You don't counter, you file your own claim. And then you're the defendant.
To explain, just to quickly explain why you don't file counterclaims and why you don't act as a beneficiary. The counterclaim, if you file a counterclaim, it means that you have acknowledged the claim in the first place. And the vast majority of claims that you will ever come across, especially from these goons, is bogus at best and fraudulent at worst. So that's why you don't file counterclaims. You go with your own. If you're going to do this, you go with your own claim. And as much as I tell people to stay the hell out of their courts, it's all illusion, whatever. Nothing like messing them up with a little bit of fun. So have some fun, but treat it as fun, not as like something that is real. Just treat them for the joke they are.
Right.
Now the beneficiary thing, Kate, can you explain that a little bit? I mean, I got a document of paper today that I came across again, and I got to looking at it, and it was suggested you go into court and you argue you're the beneficiary and they're the trustee.
You're going. That's going backwards into trust law and the legalese mumbo jumbo. You see, the simple thing, the problem with being a beneficiary, okay, because most people don't understand that the parents are the beneficiary of the children, not the other way around, because the children are the fruit of their labor, right? So you cannot be the beneficiary of your creator. You can only be the beneficiary of the creation, right? So it's natural law. And the problem with trying to claim the beneficiary status, one, you're actually committing fraud because you're claiming something that isn't yours in reverse. Unless you were claiming something against your children, that's a different story, which you wouldn't likely do anyway. And the other problem with being a beneficiary, a fraudulent beneficiary at that, is you're claiming against an estate that has debts. So what you're doing is you're saying you will take the previous testator's debts upon you, and that's what keeps this thing perpetuating in circles, in circles, in circles. So just kind of, people, you've really got to get outside the box on this, and you got to see what the positions really are. It's very easy to see it on the surface and go, well, yeah, that sort of makes sense, that makes sense. But when you really, really look at it, that's why I focused on the beneficium abstinendi part in that document I put together, and it's a critical piece of information. Do you want me to share it again, and maybe we can go over that just to really clarify it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll crack the document open. Just give me a second here. But really, when you start looking at this place in the mirror, it's the only way you're going to see it. You got to get through the looking glass here, because if you think you're looking at it on the surface, you're only seeing the reflection. You have to get behind it to see what's really going on. It's like that's why the wizard is behind the curtain. You got to open the curtain and step into where the wizard is. And that's where I live. I'm looking at the other side of the looking glass, right? My mirror has been broken for a lifetime. That was my biggest clue. So I've stood on the other side of a broken mirror and looking at this crazy place that people like to think is real and sane and loving. And that's what we're turning it into. We're actually taking that mirror and turning it around. And that's why I tell people, if you're going to go out and protest, leave the signs at home, boys and girls. Leave the rants and the ravings and all the rest of it at home, because all you're going to do is perpetuate that beautiful negative energy that they so lovingly feed on you like the vampires they are. All you need to do, if you feel the need to go out, and I am all for this, if you feel the need to go out and make your presence known, then take a non-breakable reflective surface, a mirror, keep your mouth shut, and then if you see a whole row of these dressed-up goonies in the same robotic uniforms, hold up the mirror to them and let them see who they are. You don't have to say a word. You just have to look at them and smile. Let them look at themselves for a change. And that's it, because I don't know about you, but I'd start feeling really uncomfortable if I was looking in a mirror and I was just seeing a bunch of black uniformed, all looking the same robots with the same little numbers and tags and accoutrements and accessorized that they have, and they'd start to see them as the non-existent cog in a broken machine, So anyway, if you're gonna protest, maybe take that on for a change instead of going out and screaming and having hold up signs, guys. Really seriously, the banks are frauds. They know that. Let them see it for themselves. Put them in the mirror. So here's beneficium. The beneficium, it's a privilege, remedy, or benefit granted by law. Okay, such as the beneficium abstinendi, which is a privilege of abstaining, by which an heir could refuse to accept an inheritance and thereby avoid the accompanying debt. Beneficium abstinendi, privilege of abstaining, the right of an heir to refuse an inheritance and thus avoid liability for the testator's debts. So go ahead, scream that you're a beneficiary all day long, and they'll say, no problem, pay up. It's all backwards, guys. Anyway, just a thought. So that's why I tell people, don't even think of considering yourself a beneficiary unless you're into paying, all your ancestors' debts. That's entirely up to you, because one, you're claiming it in fraud because you're not really the beneficiary, so you're making a false statement to begin with. And two, the system being as fraudulent as it is will let you do that because they're used to committing fraud, so they're free and clear in their karma. And you know what they'll do? They'll tag the debt to your ass. And they're even happier because now they're even making more money, and you're getting your life force drained. You're going to spin in circles, and you're going to get frustrated, and look at all that negative energy that these dark tornadoes love to feed on. So, if you're, it's like playing the Bond game and all the rest of it. We've come a long way. I mean, months ago I would have said, yeah, bonds, because I was seeing the sense of it. But again, it's layer after layer after layer. I am at this point willing to say tomorrow that everything that I said today was wrong, because it means I've learned something and moved forward. And too many people get caught up in well, I'm right, and I know I'm right, and me, I'm just dealing in what I get in the now and as things unfold. So I don't cling to any reality of the past. I'm constantly moving forward, and my reality right now is telling me that beneficiary, no thanks, you can keep that. I'm good, thanks, love you. Just saying. So there you go.
So in regard to the authorized representative issue, in regard to your straw man, are you the authorized representative? I guess.
Okay. Well, again, here, let's have a look at it from. There's so many perspectives you can look at this. This is what I'm saying. Is there isn't one way through. There are many ways through. It depends on how you're willing to thread that needle, right? Now, in terms of an authorized representative, for someone that is absolutely savvy in the system, is very well aware of who they are and what they are, and they know that they're dealing with, if they have a lawyer that's working for them, well, the lawyer's actually not, they're working for the court. Their pledge of allegiance is to the crown, not to any and the bar, not to any client, because a client, is of course, makes you a child of the state. But I'll tell you something else, though. If you take on a lawyer, that lawyer is actually speaking for you on your behalf, and is actually liable for any of the charges that come against it, because he or she has taken full authority of your case. So it is actually that, if there's say a 20-year sentence handed down and a lawyer is involved, it's actually the lawyer that should be going to jail, not the individual. Because the individual, by having a lawyer, said, I'm incompetent. You can't put an incompetent being in jail. So I mean, you go as an authorized representative. Again, and Tom, you got to be pretty savvy with this stuff. And Carl will tell you, and Santo, and me, and so many others. Peter, everyone will tell you. You got to have your head on for this stuff. And there are ways to keep it going, where they will. Depends on what layers of the onion you peel off while you're there. If it gets too much of a bother for them, the courts will give up. Because they're looking for the low fruit in the tree. They don't want to have to work for their money. They'd rather just fleece the sheep and run. That's the nature of the game that they're playing. So, yeah, I mean, we could get into that sometime as far as different approaches, authorized representative, going in after bonds and stuff like that. I mean, all of this stuff is effectual. It's not like it's not useful. It is very useful, but you better know what you're doing. And you got to remember also that most of these guys and girls, the judges and lawyers and all the rest of it, 90% of them don't know what the hell is going on anyway. They actually think they're doing the right thing.
Well,
a lot of them are waking up now.
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there right now. I don't know how they could not be getting exposed to it, the truth.
Oh, they are. They're getting exposed to it on a grand scale. And a lot of them are having to look in their own mirrors, because here's the thing. If you've sworn allegiance to the crown, you have cut a deal with the devil. Your soul is at stake, and your willingness to want to play this game over and over is being shown clearly, because if you're going out of your way to profit on unlawfully, unethically, immorally, on the backs of those around you, just because you went to law school and the system says it's okay to do that. No. You have a mirror. You probably have one in your bathroom, and you probably have one in your bedroom, and you're going to have to take a cold, hard, long look in that mirror, and you better look in that mirror and ask yourself this question: am I harming anyone with my actions? And if the answer is even remotely a yes, then you better have another long, hard, cold look and see if you're willing to take that on. Because there is one fact that I will share with this planet, and I put it out there as many times a day as I can: what ye sow, so shall ye reap. It will come back. That's why those that have harmed me, all I can do is shine love at them, because I know full well that everything that they have done to me is something that they are wishing to experience themselves. Golden rule. If you harm someone, you must want to experience it. In the mirror. Remember, everything's backwards here. So that's why I go out of my way to, proffer up as much love as I can towards people. And some people take it hard, but I get through it. A lot of my own soul searching, a lot of my own mirror tapping, right? But, when you put out the love, when you put out the true intentions of wanting to help, wanting to change those, not the people around you, but the environment in which it's in, because you still don't want to trespass on free will choice of others either, right? Some people love wallowing in tornadoes and drama and all the rest of it, and that's fine too. Those I just kind of sidestep now. But at the same time, I want to try to be, at least, if at all, for myself only, to be an example to myself. And if I can be an example to myself, hopefully others, if it's something that's truthful and resonates with them, they might decide to take that onto their own canvas and be a light themselves. It's like I'm far from perfect. I will tell you this, I am walking in that direction because that's where I want to be. I want to be in the light. I want to be light. I want to be truthful. I want to be honorable. I want to show what any and every individual is capable of. And in that mirror is hopefully not hopefully, it's going to get reflected back. I have trials and tribulations that I have to go through, and these are my tests, and I have to stand in. I chose them, and I don't have a problem with that. I get my days, I get my up days and my down days, so we all go through our own little battles and what have you in this movie that we're in, and those are the things we all have to come to terms with. But I know that's all going to come back. So I would say about 80 to 90% of the lawyers and judges and cops and everybody out there haven't got a clue what they're doing, but they're still.
Some do, though, Kate. Some do. I'm seeing reports. I can't pull any up right at the moment, but I just saw a report somewhere not long ago that several police officers walked off of one particular, walked away from the job. Might have been in another country somewhere. It might have been. I'm not exactly sure where I saw it, but one thing is for sure: people are waking up all over the planet, and the ones that are waking up are flocking together and coming together and moving forward in the name of truth. And I would like to say to all of these people and the people who haven't woke up yet, I'm putting it out there in the ether, that I hope more people much quicker wake up. And those that are awake, I hope that they can leave their differences aside. When they come onto the skin field, I just hope that you can leave all your beliefs and differences at the sidelines before you step out on this field and come together and let's move forward and change this world. There's too much bickering still going on amongst many, many, many people that I have seen, and it's time that everybody come together and come together and make a difference. And I believe we can do it. I believe we're already doing it. So just had to throw that in there.
Well, I totally agree. I absolutely totally agree. And there was one point I was just going to really emphasize on that with you. You were talking about the bickerings and whatever else. That was it. In your actions, this is where the mirror counts. Who are you serving? Are you serving others, or are you serving yourself? And that's definitely a very, very, for me, it's a very powerful tool for mirror. And one of the joys of my life is I get to be one of those mirrors for other people, and I get to see my own reflection too, and that's what I go after, because I need to fix that in me as well.
One more point. Are you serving dark entities?
Ain't that the truth?
That's a very good point.
That's the other aspect to all of this. Again, the duality. And you talk about that all the time, Kate, and that is one thing that made some lights and bells and whistles go off in my head when you started talking about duality. And I started seeing that not everything's either black or white. Sometimes it's black and white. And this is what people don't understand, is that there are some dark entities that we can't see, but they're out there messing with people. And if you let them in, oh my God, they'll wreak havoc in your life. So keep that in mind, people, when you let your energies and your frequencies go downhill, because that's when they jump in.
Perfect point. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah, and one of the things that I do want to put out there as well, the closer you come to the light, the easier it is to see the dark, and the further the dark will stay away from you. And you'll notice this happening in a physical manifestation around you. It's literally like walking through the mall and watching the waters part. And you,
to a certain degree, though, Kate. What I see sometimes is the more enlightened and the more enlightened and more light you become, the more the darkness is going to try to attack you and drag you back down where they had you. And
absolutely.
That gives you a reason to shine brighter. But at the same time, if you're in a situation where you are the only enlightened or awake person in your home, I know from experience, because I live this, that it is very difficult. And what Sandy's talking about is so true, because these entities come at me through my family, and it gets it gets interesting sometimes. So it has been over the course of a year that I have learned how to control this and drive them back out when I see them come in. And you can see it. It's almost like a schizophrenic person standing in front of you to watch them change instantly. When you become a beacon of light, you move out the dark, but at the same time, as above, so below, come at you too.
Well, that's exactly the duality that Sandy was talking about, and you've got to be mindful of both of it at the same time. Absolutely, couldn't agree more. The one thing about it that, from my own personal experience, one of the things I do like to convey to others, and I've said this many times on the air, and I will continue to say it, if there is an individual that you cannot confront, it's not because of something they've done to you. It's because of something you've done to them. Right? So if you find yourself steering away from another individual, it's not because of something they've done to you. It's because of something in yourself you cannot confront. It's one of the reasons why people refer to me as a stubborn bitch, because I have no issues confronting, because I want to see what I need to fix in me. Because when I'm looking outside of me, that's the rest of the consciousness. I'm part of it. I'll take responsibility for that. And I got to tell you, a lot of the truths that we deal with are not comfortable. That mirror that I speak of can be quite hideous. We talked about this the other night too, guys. Look in the mirror and you stare at yourself long enough, you're going to start seeing entities that you've been, and you haven't been the prettiest being throughout all your illusions here. So again, this is just a game of evolution. And to swing it back around to what Tom has been talking about, all creation comes out of water. So the dirtier our water is, the dirtier we are.
And water has memory.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Water, guess what, right?
I'm sorry?
Since we're 80% water, guess what, right?
Right.
So if our water's dirty, oh my gosh, we're in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing some of the, information that we've learned recently regarding water. I just received a download, an e-book on alkalinity of water and how good it is for you, and explains it. And it was well done, very well done. I'll send the link out on that. You guys can
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, we'll get it up all over Facebook. And by the way, while we're speaking of that, Tom, why don't you give people your contact information? I wanted it out a few times on the air tonight. Still got another hour here. But your contact information, and I know Cyndi's helping you along with the Facebook and stuff like that, being the helpful being that Cyndi always is, with Santo and myself and you, Tom, and Sandy as well. I mean, it's quite, I stand back and I look at this beautiful, beautiful team and I go, wow, who'd have thunk it? Anyway, so if you can share some of that information, that would be awesome. Let people know how to get a hold of you so that when you do post these things, they will get the information immediately.
Sure, that would be great. Well, we have the Facebook. Thank you, Cyndi. That looks really awesome. You guys should go there.
You're
check
welcome.
It out. And it's I don't really know how you get to it from outside. What do they do, Cyndi? Type in my name?
They just go to D-E-E Thomas Murphy. D. Thomas Murphy. And just send a friend request and just keep your eyes open. Tom's websites are posted on the site, and any links that he comes across will get put over there as well. I'm putting a link to his page directly into the chat room as we speak. And anyhow, this is where we are going to channel information for now, and the closer that we get to action, it will be broadcast through this Facebook page. And you can just send a friend request, we'll add you, and as soon as we start the ball rolling here and know where we're going, then through the message system on Facebook, you can contact us.
Yeah, great. I know people are chomping at the bit, so to speak, to get an idea of when I may have this paperwork done, so it could be used. And I'm expecting to have it done at least by Tuesday next week. So
excellent.
That's close, and that's conservative. That's conservative. So
yeah, your work dog though. I know, it'll come together, and I got to tell you, we got a day coming up on Sunday. Go figure, it's on Sunday, January 6th. The downloads will be happening on a rapid fashion, based on my own research today and doing. I kind of spent today just surfing and looking around the planet and listening to certain things, and the trend is beautiful. I got more confirmations of the fact that when you change your mind, you change this universe. I literally heard someone I've never met before or heard before talking. It might as well have been me talking. With the same regards that only one of us has to do each thing that changes it for all. You are every one of you is the 100th monkey. Every single one of you. That's how powerful your thought is. You are of the one consciousness, of course. That one thought, it's of the mastermind, if you will. You know, so when we figure something out, each one of us, regardless of what it is, and how relevant on the grand scheme, everything matters, be it positive or for the negative effect, right? And I use that only in light of the common understanding. There's nothing negative about negative, and there's nothing positive about positive, okay? It's just the reference of the duality. It's all singular. So I need you guys to really know how powerful you are. I think if there's one frustration I have is when I see these little tornadoes occasionally and whatever, you know, that's going out into the ether, guys. And I'm fighting tooth and nail to stand and hold my position. And many of us are under serious mental attack. And don't kid yourself, guys. It's more real because that's part of the movie. It's part of the script to see if you can handle it. And I tell you, it's not easy, but we will hold, we will stand, and that's all we're asking people to do. Like the movie said, all you got to do is hold on. So, and I do want to get Santo talking a little bit about January 6th to get people's heads right as to the relevance of what's coming up and why it is relevant, and how this gathering that we're having tonight on this call is just another example of changing that paradigm of making for a better tomorrow. That's all we're here for, guys, to make tomorrow brighter. Sure beats to last a couple of thousand years. Comments?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hello, Santa?
Yeah, oh. Well, yeah, thanks, Kate. Actually, I'm enjoying today's call. You're all on fire, and, you know, it's the fire of love and truth, the fire of light. When you come to this point in your life, you know that there's no way back. You know, you're not going to be dealing in dualities. There's more unity talk amongst the groups now. We're still straddling the two because we've got the remnants of the dualistic world still demanding our attention. Oh, there's still two things. There's good and there's evil. Well, there is. But the more we go to unity consciousness, the more these dark entities have no hold on us, the more the miasma is lifted. We've been under a thick veil of dark miasma for thousands of years. At least 2,000 solid years with Rome ruling. Before that was, a decaying Greece, and then, the Medo-Persians and the Babylonians. And everyone thinks that only evil came from these empires. Well, no, good comes from these empires too. It's just that the miasma has been placed over them, so their systems have been corrupted and abused. And that miasma is lifting. So the veil is lifting, and this is why policemen are being more honest now, and judges, and they're waking up, and you see these reports of things changing, because they can't really get away with it anymore. They used to when the darkness was there. The quality of light that is in the miasma, according to the great philosophers who spoke about this, like Pythagoras and Plato and Porphyry, etc., is due to the thick atmospheric miasmic nature of the atmosphere surrounding the Earth. It has been enveloped by a miasma, and that has lifted. That veil has lifted. We are now seeing, we're all seeing at different levels still, but we're getting closer to unity consciousness, and on the 6th of January, that will be one of the holy days of the calendar, the Epiphany. You see, the Egyptians had a tradition of waiting 12 days after the 25th of December when the sun is born every year. And that's why Jesus turns up in the Gospels at 12, because he appears in the temple of his Father. The temple is always and never will be anything other than the astrological zodiac. And Jesus turns up in this because the Egyptians waited 12 degrees, 12 days, a day for a degree. Every day the sun moves 1 degree, 1 notch. It inches its way forward from solstice to solstice, up and down, up and down. Right now the sun is climbing because 11 days ago was Christmas Day. So when Jesus is 12, the sun, he appears. And this is why the three wise men, they actually turn up to a not a newly born baby. In fact, so if you read the scriptures properly, you will find that the three wise men that turn up with frankincense, gold, and myrrh are appearing to a child which is a brethos in Greek, which means an infant, not a baby. So you see, this is talking about the growing sun and its stages of light. When the sun passes 12 days, its light now appears in God's temple. And so he is there instructing the wise men in the temple and marveling them and thinking, how can this 12-year-old boy be so wise? It's because that's that day of the Epiphany when it appears. The sun then shows who he really is. He's a climber. He's a savior. He comes back. He always brings the daylight every day, and he always brings the summer every year. So what he's bringing this year, because we are fully in Aquarius, is he is bringing an epiphany. What happens when you get an epiphany? And we are getting them in big doses, but rest assured that you will feel January the 6th, you'll feel January 25, the conversion of St. Paul. You see, Paul is Saturn, and Saturn rules Capricorn, which we are in now, but Saturn also rules Aquarius. So Paul ruling, someone's keyboard's in the background, guys. And so Paul, on the 25th of January, needs to be converted to Apollo. That's what Paul means, you see. So Saturn becomes Apollo and is converted. But this conversion is very, very powerful. It's a powerful day of the sun's growing, because it's grown another 12 or 20 degrees, and it has blessed mankind even further. So this is the second date I want to bring to your attention, and one more, which is Ash Wednesday, 13th of February this year, and that is when Lent begins. In Italian we call that La Quaresima, the 40 days, because that's the 40 days that the children of Israel are in the wilderness, and then on the 21st of March, bang on this year, is the equinox and the last day of Lent. This year syncs up well with the Holy Theological Year. And the Holy Theological Year was established many, many, many millennia ago, folks. It's the year that comes from our cosmic consciousness. What I'm sharing with you is true Christianity. It goes by the dates of the cosmic consciousness that we once all had. And then our consciousness fell, we had a fall, we fell down into this dark miasma, and now we are returning upward. And as the sun grows this year on the 6th of January, 25th of January, and 13th of February, you'll feel it. And then bang, when the Lamb of God, Aries, comes to this world, after March the 21st, and the Christ is resurrected, because now the days are longer, and therefore we celebrate Easter, the star being in the east, in the middle of the east, right on the equinox, on March the 21st. That's why it's Easter, because it's telling you it's in the east, perfectly. And so we are going to, that is when the resurrection really happens. You know, we are resurrected from the dead. And the dead will bury their dead, but the living and the ones where Jesus said, and the dead shall rise, that's us. We were dead in the miasma. We were dead in our works. Now our works have changed, because we've flipped the switch, we've flipped the polarity from dead works to live works. We will never return, we will never go back. So we've won. We have won. We have won over the evil forces. They can never conquer us. They can never conquer us. That's why Jesus said, take courage, for I have conquered the world, and you will do works greater than I. And we are doing these works greater, far greater than anything written in any gospel, because we are doing works of life. You know, they're living. Pages are not. You know, pages speak about living things. We are actually living it. We're living this. We're living the transformation of this planet, and we're creating it. And the more we eliminate the darkness in us, the more it will eliminate on the other plane, as above, so below. And that's about it. That's all I've got to add, really, of usefulness.
Oh, it's beyond usefulness. Again, that's another beautiful outline of the responsibility of self. And the only thing that's going to change outside of you is that which you change inside of you. And that, for most people, is the hardest thing to do, because they've been caught up in the duality and the dramas and the games and the American Idol and what have you of this duality dimension that we're in right now. And you're right. I'm seeing more singularity, Santo, than I've ever seen in my life, and it's beautiful. Just the posts that I'm getting and just seeing it. I got to tell you, it's because of that I'm able to keep standing the way I do, because there's nothing harder than trying to do something, and it's right. And it was like, was it Greg Braden did the speech? He said, the reason why everyone that's listening tonight, and I will share this, the reason why you were listening tonight is because you're the odd duck in your family. You're the one that everybody thinks is weird. You're the one that's doing things different than everybody else, because you don't want to go along with the nonsense of what this place has been about. So give yourself, a tip of the hat. The fact that we're the ones that are considered crazy. Well, the only thing that makes us crazy is the fact that we're crazy enough to think we can change the world, and go figure. We are the ones that always do. So well done. I applaud you. The fact that you were listening tonight is kudos to you, because you're the one that is changing your world and in turn changing mine. And I have nothing but love and gratitude for that. Thank you so much.
Yes, indeed. I know I've always been the black sheep. Just going against the flow, and it's led me down so many roads, and I've made my goodness, so many mistakes, and lived through the karma. And now it's just about continuing on my path to enlightenment, and hopefully we can bring. Now, let me get rid of that hopefully word. Surely we will be bringing lots of other souls with us into the age of enlightenment, this beautiful golden age that we're about to enter into. Well, we're in it, but I believe
we're in it now.
Energy is fixing to be magnified 1,000-fold in 48 hours.
Yeah, just one point too. And people have asked me many times, and there's a lot of responsibility doing what we do as well, guys, because we have people listening to us, and I've had many people ask me, how did you figure this out, and how come you know this, that, and the other? And I said, well, the easy answer and the only answer I can share it with is I've screwed up more than you. That's all. It's a pretty easy answer.
Relate to that one.
Yeah, that's
all. I was just wrong more times than you, and I figured it out. That's it. I dared to be wrong, and as a net result, guess what I find? And same with you guys. You find truth. And so that's why the fear of being wrong is exactly the mirror of what you need to get away from, because when you, and I use the word wrong in the duality sense only because it's a reference, but when you've been wrong about something, it gives you the mirror of truth. It's like, oh, well, I got that wrong, but now I know this is truth. And guess what happens when you have truth? You can't ever give it back. Cool, huh? It's a non-refundable.
I like that.
And Tom, glad to have you back. You've been dropping out a few times here, so you're back on there, bud. So speak away.
Yeah, I was just for some reason my phone just froze up, and so I had to turn it off and reboot. And I missed a little bit of Santos and his explanation, but man, what I got, Santos, thank you so much. That's extremely enlightening.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. It is our theology. Syncretism proves that. We have a beautiful theology. It's about light. God is light. We are light, and we're remembering this. It's gonna be proven to be found in all the pages of all the beautiful works that have ever been written, and those pages are the same ones that caused a lot of bloodshed. There's been a lot of pain, and a lot of pain due to the miasma polluting our minds, and the thick atmosphere that Porphyry spoke about on this earth. Even Manly P. Hall, in his audio files, modern day occultist and wonderful advanced soul this planet has experienced in our modern times, spoke about this atmosphere that is on the earth. And another great teacher, Thomas H. Burgoyne, in The Light of Egypt, speaks of the dark satellite that has been positioned at perihelion, apohelion. I've got that wrong. Perihelion, excuse me, for 2,000 years. Now, the dark satellite is the orb, which is one of the chakras of this planet Earth. She has 7 chakras, just like all the bodies that she generates from the sun's light. The seeds of those patterns come from the sun, from the center of the sun. Everything you see here on the planet comes from the center, the core of the sun. And the magnetic earth receives those imprints, she receives those forms, and she materializes them with her atoms and elements. And one of her chakras is the animal chakra, and this is where she holds all of her animals that are evolving. She evolves many races, many kingdoms on her beautiful host planet. She's got the mineral kingdom covered, the crystals, she's growing them, she grows plants, she grows animals, and she grows human beings. And most of the human beings are resisting their growth, aren't they? Planet Earth is trying to grow them, but what's happened is this dark satellite has been at perihelion, which means it's been at its center. And so it has been felt. The animal soul has been very, very prominent in this couple of thousand years. And it is not felt. It's always there. But it's not felt in the Golden and the Silver Ages. It's only felt in the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, but more predominantly in the Iron Age, which we have just traversed. So we hear about miasma, dark orb, dark satellite, Iron Age, Dark Ages. Hello, we have just been through the worst. So what happens in this cyclical universe is that it all comes back. Everything that goes down or up comes down, and it's cyclical. We're seeing that, and now we're at the peak of the wave, because the light. It's the quality of the light. The miasma has been lifted, so the quality of light now can penetrate, and it's a lot harder for people to practice the dark arts that they used to practice, and especially in court.
Hey, Santo. You've been using the word miasma, and I am absolutely blown away here with the correlation with what you were talking about with miasma and what Tom is here to bring to the table. So I'd like to read something, if I may. Wow. All right. So it's just a coincidence, you bring up the word miasma, and Tom's here about the clean water. So check this out. The miasma theory was consistent with the observations that disease was associated with poor sanitation and hence foul odors, and that sanitary improvements reduced disease. It was not consistent with the observations of microbiology, however, that led to the germ theory of disease, which we all know is bogus. Anyway, the introduction of medical bacteriology in the 1870s and 1880s provided a challenge to the miasma theory, or as I like to call it, a distraction, though consensus was not reached immediately. Check this out. Concerns over sewer gas, which was a major component of the miasma theory developed by Galen and brought to prominence by the Great Stink, led to continuing proponents of the theory, who observed that sewers enclosed the refuse of the human bowel, which medical science had discovered could teem with typhoid, cholera, and other microbes.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is what has happened with our fall too. There was a time when we did not need sewers because we didn't fall. We've fallen on many levels too, by the way. It's not just on one level. In many levels we have fallen, and so there will be a time when we will not have to feed on minerals, plants, animals, and in some civilizations, if you want to call them that, or cultures around the planet, they've even resorted to eating human beings, cannibalism. But ideally, our food returning upward as a philosopher would be to eliminate the grosser parts, like the animals, and as Porphyry and Plotinus, who were and Plutarch, and Plotinus, of course, they all were. They were all vegetarian. But those three in particular stood out because they wrote great voluminous amounts of work about the true nature of the human being truly vegetarian, to eat vegetables. And that would be the lowest of their foods, herbs and things like that have minerals in them, which are electric foods. But none of that. Pythagoras and all the Pythagoreans and all of those schools, they were all vegetarian. The Dionysian, the Sabazian schools, all of them, every single one of them, because a philosopher needed to eliminate the grosser foods, and then some of the highly initiated ones were just breathing the air and receiving all their nutriments there, you see. So this is where our bodies have received patterns from the sun that have been more grosser, according to Thomas H. Burgoyne, whereas in the Golden Age, the patterns that are received on this earth from the sun are higher forms, like fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional creatures that have much more subtle bodies, you see, and not flesh and blood. They're more sort of crystalline optic fibre. Yeah. So, and that's what we're being transformed into now. We are being transformed. The whole solar system's DNA is being lifted. It's being uplifted. It's shifted. Right at the moment doing somersaults. Everything. The whole solar system's in absolute rapture. It's in rapture.
I feel like going and doing a couple somersaults now just after hearing you say that. I'm so excited. It's just. This is so exciting and an amazing time to be alive, I'll tell you that.
No time like the Santos, huh?
Yeah. Did we lose you, Santo?
No.
Oh, okay. I heard you breaking up there for a second. Okay, yes. Gosh, and you say it so well. Let me just say that. The chat room just loves, there was a few comments way back up the chat room. They just love the way you deliver your information and the way you speak it. So I just let that be known. I really do enjoy to listen to you speak and the wisdom that you speak.
Yeah, thank you. And it's because it's we know that you know the truth. When you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. We've been freed from what? From opinions. We can speak confidently and boldly in our beautiful intelligence that we have. Why not? We can express, these are not our opinions. We've lost the opinions. We would be arguing by now if we were protecting our opinions. We're not. And we are humbly changing our perspective every day. Kate touched on that just before. What we were saying 2 months ago about, do things this way and that way, are always changing because of the light and the miasma disappearing. And you can feel it. Aquarius is here now. Jupiter has lost his kingdom. Jupiter ruled Pisces. Jupiter is a tyrant. Yes, in astrology he's a benefactor and the greater benefic, but he's also a capitalistic, a greedy, gluttonous planet, and he's run amok. Now Uranus is reigning in Aquarius, and Uranus is the heavens. Aquarius is the Holy Spirit that St. John the Baptizer said, that one coming will baptize with spirit and fire. I will baptize with water. Water is a psychic, emotional quality. Many churchgoers have been baptized in that. Yes, they have. They have been saved from the what the philosophers called a hylic condition, a bodily death. They've been psychically saved with the baptism of water, but unless you're baptized with spirit and fire, you ain't going back to daddy. Spirit is air, and fire, of course, is fire, the mystical fire. Unless we are mystical, unless we reach out to be mystical like the Creator is, we shall never really return. We will always be materialistical, which is the opposite of mystical. And so this is why we need the baptism of fire, and the 120 that were there at the day of Pentecost, and the tongues of fire were apparent above their heads. This is an aura. This is a true fire which emanates from the beautiful, beautiful Merkaba aura that we carry. We are bodies of light. And what happens is we now pop a new octave, and the octave above the head, you see that flame of fire, that's the 8th chakra, the one that's sitting just 3 inches above the crown chakra. When you ignite those, and Thomas H. Burgoyne says that the 4th one above the head is when we reunite with our soulmates or our other half, because we are always half. Jupiter is responsible for that division. Jupiter the tyrant, after souls are received from the ring of Saturn, Jupiter then splits them in half. And this is why we have so much aching and pain, because we are always looking for a complement. We are looking for something that's missing, that will add to us and complete the consciousness that has been lost, you see. And that does happen eventually. It can happen on this plane, on this theatre, in this world called the Earth, and it does. Many soulmates are reunited here, but above that luminous chakra, which looks like flames of tongues of fire above our head, that's when all the action really happens. That's the octave that we really, really are going into, and that we live in anyway. Yeah, so this is the good thing. We're all experiencing this, folks. We're all becoming mystical, like Orpheus and Dionysius and Jesus and all the saviors, Buddha, Hermes, Thoth. What Rome did is Rome polluted the system, the true theology that we had, and she told us that Sabazius no longer saves, Horus no longer saves. You can forget about Attis. You can forget about Krishna. There's only one Saviour now, and we're going to pluck him from out of the rest and make him special and different. And he was, and he may have been. It doesn't matter. It's not the point. The point is there's been many, many avatars and saviours that have walked through many worlds. You know, many Count Saint Germains. And we are it, because we are all the one. The Creator is experiencing his beautiful, beautiful self of loneliness and oneness and singularity by dividing its beautiful, undivided, indivisible, pure, white, magnetic light we call Isis, and she divides into Ra and El, right and left, radiation and electricity, and that's how the universe is made. And then the beautiful desire to return to rest fulfills itself when we decide that we also want to be balanced and go into unity consciousness. And that's the beautiful story that's in every book. The churchgoers have missed it. Lots of people have missed it. Even philosophers have missed it. It's there. It's obvious. It's obvious now because the light is getting lighter.
Yeah, and it removes all those, the dogmas and the stigmas and the reasons for people to go around killing each other with the attitude of my God's better than your God. Creator is itself. It is himself, herself, itself. It is a Trinity. There is, you see, and this is the other thing too. With we were talking about this the other day about sexuality versus gender. The seventh cosmic law is the law of gender, in that in all things, male and female exist. So it really dispels that. That's Hermeticism. That's the seventh cosmic law, the law of gender. And for me, that was one of the early on things with me with the Hermetica that really helped sort things out. From my perspective, I'm just a physical manifestation of the seventh cosmic. So for me, that was my particular role, to try to bring that truth around to people, to get them to look at both sides of their most beautiful self. And they are. Miranda brought it up the other night with regards to, when she looks at people, she sees both. and that's what I do too. I can see both aspects in everyone I look at, and you can tell who is, you know, overly dominant female or overly dominant male, and in that light alone, there is an imbalance. And it's when you start bringing both of these things together, the nurturing aspect of the feminine and the strength of the masculine, and vice versa, you become the whole again. You become the singularity of that duality, and that's when, you know, like you were talking about Jesus and all the other different beings throughout. I mean, here's the most perfect lesson that you know, if people want to claim to be Christian or whatever, well, maybe you might want to listen to the actual teachers that are talking here, because when the individual says that, you know, God is light, you are light, ye are gods. Are you so arrogant that you will question that? I don't question it. It made sense to me the first time I read it when I was a kid. I'm thinking, okay, well, that makes more sense than the rest of this garbage going on around me, because truly a loving God doesn't burn people in hell forever. And, you know, as I found out later, that was just a confab of the Roman Empire, the Roman Church, you know. So very, very powerful information, Santo. And I mean, that's the thing too. When we can get this information out in layman's terms, for people to understand it, and there's no emotion attached to this, guys. Emotion means no motion, means you're stopped. So the only motion in the universe is love. It's the only thing that conquers all. And when you start looking at things from the perspective of, I need to learn something here, instead of look what I know, you know, you'll find yourself in a better position to actually learn something. I mean, that's how I come at every day. You know, when I wake up, and the most glorious thing I do is I breathe, and that's kind of cool. That's a great way to start your day. And then I build on it from there.
Hey, Kate, just a little example of how beautiful the light is pouring in on this planet. I discovered, someone approached me by email yesterday and showed me all of his videos he's been posting on YouTube. I want to share with the listeners, please check out on YouTube, please check out Jason Macy. Jason Macy. Jason is spelled Jason, and then his surname is Macey. You will see he has what he's done with Google Earth. People, when you look at our planet, if you want to see the Creator's imprint and how the sun emanates the forms and the designs and all the patterns and all the seeds that have ever been generated on any of the planets in its system. If you want to see how the Earth has been sculpted, have a look at this guy's videos. You will see the face of a man in the Atlantic Ocean. You will see it. You will see a beautiful seahorse. You know where the Falkland Islands are, just off the tip of the South America. You will see how the coastline and everything forms the head of a seahorse in the water, and it connects with the nose of the man about to sort of bite the mouth of the horse, and you'll see it. It stands out, and then he goes and he does hundreds and hundreds of geographic sites around the planet, and you see the face of human beings, of animals. You see how the Earth herself has sculpted this. These are not man-made things, folks. This is the oceans. This is the geometric forms. They are not just haphazard. You will see animals, you will see human beings sculpted by the Earth. She's doing this, and we have just noticed. This is the sort of stuff that we are now seeing with our eyes as we elevate our consciousness ever upward and expand it and expand it and expand it. The institutions of this planet are designed, or that they pretend to be a friend of this consciousness expansion, but they are designed to destroy it. They are, in fact, the enemy of this beautiful, beautiful process that is going on by nature. So, hopefully we will get this guy some hits. Please spread this everywhere. You will see You will see the faces of all kinds of creatures all over the body of this beautiful, sexy planet called Gaia.
That's fascinating, Santo. Can you say his name one more time, please?
Jason Macy, Macey. That's his channel, the name of his channel, and he's in Australia. He's only had 17,000 hits. Let's change that, because the world needs to see these, to see there's a lot more going on everywhere, and we are only beginning to pay attention and notice, because we have the tools, we have the internet, we have, this guy's used Google Earth in a way that no one else has been able to do it, and how he stumbled across these things, well, he's been blessed with that gift and vision, and we all have these wonderful things that we're bringing to the table, and we need to take advantage now, because we have more help than we have ever had before. There is more light. It's all about light. Please, folks, sing to the light. There's no other subject. There is only light. And sing to the light and embrace it, because the more we do, the more it changes its quality. It will suit, when we make our decisions to improve, it will also complement us. It will never, it's a great servant. The light is a great servant, but we need to be good creators. Because if we keep creating the same poke your finger in the eye stuff, well, we will continue to suffer in this dualistic world, and the people that are making hay while the sun shines in terms of wicked deeds, they will continue to prosper, because we allow them to. We're the ones that are still participating in the stock market and, the Ponzi schemes, and we're sort of, buying into their little things a little bit here and a little bit there. Well, I'm not talking about our group. I know none of our people do that, but the world in general still is. Our people around us, we see. I see a lot of people that are very, very close to me that are still doing things that are just only supporting, the bad guys, the capitalists, and the greedy part of our brotherhood is only just supporting them. So we will change that, and we are changing that.
Oh, it's changed, all right. And that's, again, we've already done that just by your stating that, Santo. And you have I won't speak for everyone, but I'll for me, you have my absolute agreement on that. In that, we are the dominant frequency now of light, and those that are in the dark are going to, natural law, going to have to resonate up to it. And this is where they all have to go through their own growing pains, as we did. We went through some serious growing pains. And hopefully for them it'll be a whole lot cheaper than it was for us. But that was our choice, That's what you get for waking up. And the road is getting much easier. It's because a lot of it has been cleared for others to walk down it, where now it's more an act of sharing the light, sharing the truths that we have come across through our experiences with others. And truth is always self-evident. And if someone is awake, they'll resonate to it. And that's something that can replace some of the garbage that's been spattered on their canvas for a lifetime. So I agree wholeheartedly, Santo. Well put.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Now, Santo, Sunday, Epiphany Day, you have a pretty special show coming up, don't you? With Scott, Sunday, correct? Scott on Scott?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. It's my Tuesday. Oh,
It'll
so
be
it's on.
It's going to be on
Monday
this
morning or Sunday night here on Freedom Reign 7 to 9.
Okay. So is it going to be syncretism?
No, it'll be Scott's stuff. It'll be Scott's stuff. If I have guests, it will be their stuff totally, because I get a lot of radio time. I mean, there's enough of my stuff.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant the Syncretism show.
Yeah, it'll be on the Syncretism show Sunday night, 7 to 9, right? It's not on American.
Sorry, I misunderstood you.
It's okay. This is something I've been very much looking forward to because Scott's a good friend of mine, and as a matter of fact, I'm not sure. I might be wrong here, but I believe I shared his video with you, and I believe I shared your video with him. And he wasn't aware of you, and several other people at the same time. I believe it was on the same day. Had posted a bunch of your videos on his page, and I messaged him on the side and said, yeah, you really need to look at this guy. So this is going to be so exciting for me. I cannot wait to hear the two of you.
Oh, it'll definitely be fun knowing what both bring to the table. We do have a caller. We got 15 minutes left here. Do you want me to bring the caller in and see if they have any questions or comments?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Here I am hosting the show, and I'm asking everybody else. Isn't that funny? Oh no, they just took off. I guess I must have scared them off. Anyway, oh well. Constantly polite. Sorry, guys, but that's just the way it is. Anyway, yeah, it should be a very interesting show with Santos and Scott. Looking forward to helming that for you as well. There's Santos. Sit back and get my education. It's awesome. All I got to do is push buttons. It's great. Thanks. Oh, don't everybody talk at once, eh? I really love the dead air thing.
I thought you were going to bring the caller in.
I know, they took off, though.
They hung up, but you're kind of cutting out a little bit, Kate.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, here they are. They just came back, so let's see if we can get them here. Okay. Caller, area code 862-944. Took off again. They must have gotten bounced out of the call. Anyway, so I was going to bring them in. But anyway, I just want everyone to flow a whole lot of energy right now for Ruby to come home and for Miranda to have one of her two kids back. That's, I know what it's like worrying about a dog that is not at home. And it is not a nice feeling. It is literally the same effect as a child. Probably even more so knowing that the dog is at the mercy of the world in that it cannot communicate verbally as a child can. Not to make less of it, I'm just trying to put the energy out there. So let's bring Ruby 2 shows home for Miranda. I think we can all flow the light for that and bring her home.
Yes, Miranda, we love you, and I'm sending you light right now, honey. I'm hoping that you find your baby.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Hopefully getting Miranda on tonight, but based on that, I'm not surprised. Probably out walking looking for Ruby right now.
She's out there looking for her right now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I know I'd be. It didn't matter. So yeah. Well, anyway, we got a few minutes left here, guys. About 12 minutes or so. If Tom, maybe you want to do a wrap up and use how important the role you're playing is with regards to the Clean Water Act, which is effectively saying it's time to get the truth clean.
Sure. Be glad to, Kate. Everybody just say a little prayer for Jackie. She was under the weather today, and I was in hopes that she would be able to come and explain. She lived within the 1 square mile in London, the city of London. And she's done a lot of research, and since we met, probably close to a year ago now, and so she's really uncovered the history that leads right up to the governments that are impersonating our government here, and how they evolved and where they came from. And it's just great to hear her, talk about that. And I was in hopes that we'd get her here tonight, but she's a little under the weather, so maybe some other time soon. So anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you guys. I appreciate your support. It's a breath of fresh air. I got to tell you, new wind beneath my wings, so to speak, and I do appreciate it. It's a team. It's a heck of a team.
Oh, good.
We're honored to be on that team, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right back at you.
Love that Texan humor. I love it.
Yeah, it's like I like to bring up the scene in Clash of the Titans when the Jinn is going to give up his life to take out Medusa's body. He looked at Perseus square in the eyes and said one word, and this is the only word that matters for all of us. He said one word: together. And that's how we do this, guys. We do this together. We don't do it individually. We are all bright, shining stars in a nova. It's beautiful. And we do this together. We've been suffering from divide and conquer for too long. And I'm done with it. And my heels are dug deep, 6 feet into the ground here. I am immovable. I might be the mutable one in the zodiac, but I am immovable at this point. I'm going to be as fixed as Aquarius.
And I am Aquarius, so there you go.
There you go.
And I'm with you. We have to do this together because I will tell you what, Kate's right about the divide and conquer thing. You look back over all the years, I know it's probably the same in all of your lives, of how often the divide and conquer thing has come in. And it was an energy that was against us. And now I think we can pull this together and stop this kind of stuff. It is really something we need to do. And we need to be more conscious of it so it doesn't happen and doesn't keep happening.
Here. Yes. Leave it all at the door and come on in and let's have a good time and move forward.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with that. And as Tom says, let's get her done.
Get her done.
Get her done.
I can work with that one. Yeah, that one worked for me.
Good old Mater logic, yeah.
And the sooner the better.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking Sunday's a good start because that's our day of Epiphany, and then as Santo outlined, the next holy days as they're coming up, and just a coincidence that it all lines up at the same time, eh, Santo? Everything lines up exactly on the day it needs to.
Yeah, if you know the science of light and you know the cycles, you know where to look out. You know what the sun's doing. You know, you can then understand why would you have. For instance, one example, why would you have a celebration called the Conversion of St. Paul right where Aquarius starts on the 25th of January and Saturn is changing character from Saul to Paul, from Saturn to Apollo, because that's another name for Saturn. And so why they did this, or why it was done, because this is universal mind thinking. No one created this system. This old, ancient theological calendar has been around for aeons of time. Aeons of time. It just is. It's never devised. No humans devised it. No ingenious humans devised, and yet we did, because we did it in a higher conscious state. It's known. This is a known science. And it is what can be known. And so when you see the sun's path like that and the moon's path and you follow them, you see all the things that are produced and created by these orbs. Abraham and Sarah, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, they are. They're always there, and they're always producing the effects on this planet. And we are the ones that have stopped recognizing it, and also so have the priestcraft, because what they're teaching is absolute, the crumbs of this beautiful science. They've lost it. Man, they've lost their way. I mean, they've even resorted to pedophilia because they're so bored, with, with their whole lives. Because this is what happens. When you lose this science, you lose your divinity, and you start dealing in gluttony and pedophilia and all sorts of abuses and dualisms, you see. So it's this science that will save us. It is the science of the stars. Astrology is the Bible is astrology. It is the science of light. We must know light and become more acquainted with it, and especially our own light, because the more light we shed in our souls, the more we get rid of those dark things, and we have no choice really. We have to go forward because otherwise the alternative is what we have seen and what we have experienced thus far, and it's not good. It's not pretty out there. It's a military-industrial complex, really. John Anthony West puts it well. He calls it a mental asylum.
That's for sure.
That's part of what we are, and we're losing that. We're losing that with intelligence and brilliance and light. And why not? Because we're not, the bricks in the wall that they want us to be. Pink Floyd were trying to, squelch those stupidities back in the 70s. They were a very enlightened band. And they were trying to send us the signal. Hey, folks, you can be musical, you can be artistic, you can be gods, you can be divine. Reach upward. Reach upward.
It's all in the pre-sent. And you're exactly right, Santo, and that's a perfect example of what I'm trying to convey with what has been pre-sent. Of course they were awakening us. This was the information we pre-sent ourselves to wake ourselves up. And that's all part of the grand illusion. This beautiful movie that we're all partaking in, and what we're doing now finally is recognizing the projectors of this movie in the heavens, and how we've put this all together as we follow our breadcrumbs back home, the ones we left from home, to go into the past, to move back into the future where we were. We're going back to the future, and that's how time exists. Finally saw it completely for what it is, and it's astonishing. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah, of course it was there. It was always present. All the information that we look at is there for all things for a reason. That's Hermetica. There are no coincidences. Everything is synchronistic. That's why we had to move to synchronicity, syncretism, and it's not a coincidence that's what you brought back to the table.
Yeah, let's unite as we go forward. Let's leave uniformity behind. That's one of their words. Change the containers that we think in and act in. Always improve those containers. Our words, our language, speech and behaviour always changes every day. Man, I'm glad I'm here today, because yesterday, whoa, I needed to change some things. You know what I mean? Every day
exactly.
Every day I leave behind, I think, whew.
That was a good day to get rid of, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, we have 3 minutes left here. We can go past the hour a little bit. We have a caller. I'm not sure if they have any questions or comments. But what I just want to get this out of the way so that all that are needed to be acknowledged are. I just want to say thank you very much to Freedom Reigns for the platform on which we can bring our voices to the air. And Blog Talk Radio, of course, and all you wonderful people there, all the hosts and people involved, the listeners. You all factor into this. This is the doing it together thing. We don't have a show if we don't have a listener, so you're as important as you may think we are. So that's that in the mirror. So on that little note, I will bring this caller in to see if they want to make any comments, but we'll be off the air in about a little over 2 minutes, guys. But this podcast will be available within 5 or 10 minutes after we're done, so I don't imagine we'll go too far past the hour, but I did, someone called in, so I do like to give them the honor of being a part of the show, if that is what they wish, so I'll bring them in now. Area code 41098, area code 410, first two numbers 98. Questions or comments?
No. I tuned in a little early for the next show, and I was just listening along here.
Oh, there you go. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, and I just thought I'd give you an opportunity if you did want to have any questions. So thank you again.
No, I don't know the subject matter. I just caught the end of it.
No worries, my friend. All good.
And a comment. Everybody take in Syncrenicity.com. It's the new site that Santos, Kate, and Tony are putting a lot of information on. There's going to be a lot of new people on there. I'll probably have some stuff posted. I know Cyndi will too eventually. So, and others. So you guys go check it out, Syncrenicity.com.
Yeah, it's there, and it's very active. We have a Facebook page as well, and we'd like everyone to, join in. I mean, you're gonna find Tom there as well, Simon Parks, Richard Cummers, Stephen Kelly. We're going to be bringing everybody to the one center where it's one-stop truth shop. How's that? Does that work for you? I thought so.
Together, exactly. We bring it all together. But I wanted to thank you, Tom, for coming in again tonight. And as soon as you hear from Jackie and she's well enough to do a show, you let me know, and we'll get that on the air ASAP. And not a problem, not a question. Just let us know. And tomorrow night, Sunday night, don't forget Santo Bonacci Syncretism from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Here on Freedom Reigns Blog Talk Radio. I hate when it does that. 10 seconds. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia, here filling in for Tony on Cosmic Blueprints. So any other comments, guys? It'll go into the podcast now. We're off the air.
No, I'm good. I think it was an excellent show. Excellent show.
Thank you, Kate.
Like to wrap it up. No worries. I just like to wrap it up before the clock runs out. It's an old radio habit thing, but, got to do what you got to do, right?
Right.
But yeah, definitely. When you hear from Jackie, love to sit down and have a chat with you guys. And we can have a call after this if you guys are okay with it. There's a few questions I wanted to ask you, Santa, with some other things that are coming up. Best just shared remotely until we can get it out on the air. I don't want to stir too many boats or too many pots right now. So they're good pots. Don't get me wrong; they're very good pots. But anyway, so are you guys up for a call after we're off the air?
Oh yeah.
I would love to, but I can't. I have to go down on the other side of the base and help a friend out after the show. So you guys can, if you don't mind, just fill me in later, please.
Oh, you get all the details ASAP, so you know that.
Okay.
And,
Sandy, Kate, love to you all, and
love you too.
You guys take care, and I will see you next time. I'm going to pop out of here and get my shoes on.
All right, do your thing, guys. And signing off from Freedom Reigns, Cosmic Blueprints, Blog Talk Radio. Much love to all, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side as soon as I can get this episode ended. Love you all.
All right, love you too.
Thank you.
President. It was sent in by Patrice. Thank you, Patrice. Always sends in these beautiful little juicy emails. Let me see. Here. It was a clean water penalty thing. This you might already know about this, Tom, but I thought I'd share this with you. And okay, let me see. Get this open up. I'm not really a big fan of Gmail, the way it works. But anyway, it's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's just totally different than I'm used to. Anyway, the Transocean is to pay a record $1 billion in civil penalties and $400 million in criminal fines. I mean, this is a joke anyway. Drop in the bucket for these guys, but violating the Clean Water Act and to pay a total of $1.4 billion. They've agreed to plead guilty to it. So it's in civil and criminal fines, penalties for its conduct in relation to Deepwater Horizon disaster. Department of Justice announced today. And again, the only joke that I find about, they talk about these fines and whatever, who are the fines getting paid to? They get paid to the courts. So the courts are still only embellishing their own courts. But the point is, it's just to let you know that the resonance of the universe works, and that, system, we know where the money goes. You'll charge all your fines and whatever, and then you put it in your own pocket. That money will never see the Gulf. just letting everyone know that. So if you're going to make lawsuits or pay fines or whatever, all you're doing is generating money for the system within. So this is one of the reasons why people really need to get that the whole legal system is fraud. So that's why I have really nothing to do with it. It's about getting the ethereal message out to let them know that we've caught on to you on the higher realms, and you have to change your way. That's universal law. That's the only law I stand under.
Yeah.
Well, so what you're saying is the fine for the criminal goes to the courts?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Where else is it going to go?
Of course, the civil will go to the plaintiff.
And the plaintiff is probably some corporation that's owned by a court somewhere, namely a city or a bunch of people sitting around in a council, and they'll divvy it up and have some fun with it. It will never go to benefit the people, is what I'm saying. It will only go to benefit those within their own little, the law society, their society versus ours. So I just want to make that point very clear to people, that when you see these record fines against banks and whatever else, all it's doing is going right back to the bank. Fundamentally, it goes back to our corporate crown, which is the bank. So it's just feeding itself, and they're laughing all the way to their own bank.
Tom, I have a question that just was asked in my messages. Gentleman Derek, he wants to know what would be the alternative from using sewers then? What's the alternative?
Well, the alternative has to be the best available demonstrated alternative. Let's see, BADCAT, BADCAT. It's best available demonstrated control alternative technology, as is defined in 33.13.16a, that whatever that best technology is the alternative that's mandated, and it's non-discretional to the administrator, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, and of course the state and its political subdivisions. And that alternative happens to be the one that I developed, and it's known as the Reclamator. Currently, we developed this and acquired 9 patents on it through the 90s, almost 40 some odd international patents that we also acquired and we're sustaining. But as soon as we made this technology available, the EPA boycotted it because it was mandated by the Clean Water Act.
Yeah, and it worked. They hate things that work.
Yeah, they do. Not to cut you off, guys. Santos about to join us. I just wanted to let you know Santos Bonacci is about to come into the call. So continue, please. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm sorry. I was just going to try to explain. People just don't really have enough. They just, I get this all the time. It's just automatic response. Whoa, why wouldn't they want that? Well, it's because they, the United States Corporation, are not a government looking out for our best interest. They are a co-corporation of the City of London, which, by the way, that was a good, some good links you sent out, Kate, that explains where all this is coming from. But they're a co-corporation of the City of London, which is all corrupt. It's all utility, and they're here to make money off of the world's largest industry, which is the United States wastewater utility sewer industry, which has been unlawful as defined in 1365F, explains it's been unlawful to not implement at-source control, which is required to contain and control these 65 toxic pollutants that are making us sick, giving us skin diseases, internal diseases, bone diseases. Acidity is the worst pollutant there is a pH level less than 7.5. People don't think much about pH, but it's the bad one. It creates the environment for all the other toxins to work. But the reason they don't want it is, number one, they want to keep on poisoning us. They don't want to contain and control the toxic pollutants from getting into our drinking water, migrating, cause water and other environmental pollution to occur. But they also don't want to lose that revenue, because if the water, the sewage is controlled and contained and reclaimed and reused at the source, it does not leave the property, and therefore there can be no sewer fee. There can be no sewers.
Can I share something in this as well, Tom? And it was something that came across my mind and came across my desk. Oh, Santos just joined us. I'll make his mic hot. Not sure what triggered it. Maybe you guys can help me on this one. But you see, when you'd mentioned about it all being about the sewers in the city of London, and I went back to my historical aspects, and I thought, yeah, well, it's Rome, and of course you had the aqueducts, which in Rome they're lined with lead, which was poisoning people, whatever. But one of the things that I thought of in regards to the Great Plague of London and what have you was what they're doing in an ethereal sense. This is a resonant thought that I got. In the ethereal sense, what they're doing by putting sewers in, they're gathering all of our life force, our urine, and they're coalescing it and controlling it. And they're steering it wherever they want it to go, and of course, where are the sewers? In the dark. And
right.
I saw a major connection from the spirit and life, pure life, and I have to thank Miranda for bringing this to the table, because everything matters, and I was trying to see how all these pieces fit together. Why the urine therapy, why this, why that, why the other, and then of course you bring the piece of the puzzle of the Clean Water Act, and I thought, what a perfect way to control people. I'm not even aware of it, because contained within our urine is the very life essence of everything we are. And that's why we need to loop it instead of putting it. Literally, when you're peeing in their sewer system, you're granting them control on a very deep level. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that across while you were talking about that.
Right, and I'll share a little fact with you about the urine. Once the urine is introduced into the H2O water, and it's allowed to set to go. I've got this explained in the National Clean Water Standards of Performance and Regulations that we wrote. But I believe it's 3 hours. After 3 hours, it converts to a toxic ammonia, a high-level ammonia, NH3, I believe it is. And then that ammonia then converts to a high-level carcinogen, which is NO3, which is nitrate. And so once it's introduced into water, H2O, it becomes extremely toxic, and that's what they want. They want that to
Hey, good evening all. How's it going? Welcome to Cosmic Blueprints. I'm your host tonight, Kate of Gaia. Tony's got a little bit of an errand to do tonight, and just waiting for everyone to show up. I'm here by myself right now. Anyway, yeah, it's been quite a week, I think. Lots of energies going around everywhere. and lots of tornadoes, and we do our best not to get caught up in them, of course. But lo and behold, some storms just get a little bit wider than we like, and that's okay. That's okay. We're in a zone right now of a lot of intense energy, and I don't even think I need to start explaining that to anyone, because I know so many of us are experiencing it right now. And so really what we all need to do is take a deep, deep breath and pace ourselves, observe, and don't get involved. So that's kind of been the game plan for for quite a while with me, and it's going to stay that way. Hello, Cyndi. It looks like we have Cyndi on board. Yay!
Hi, Kate. How are you?
Good, good. Yeah, so, you know, I'm on the board going, where is everybody? That's okay.
Yeah, I had to go tend to a sick child and give her another dose of some of that food-grade hydrogen peroxide and get her situated. It's working really well with her, along with the pure mineral solution that I got from Spirit Dancer. It's just bringing all that infection up, and she kind of made me giggle earlier today. She said, "Why is it green?" I said, "That's the infection, and it's pulling all this good stuff is pulling the bad stuff out of your chest." So, and now it's just coming out by the pounds, I guess. It's just unbelievable.
Coming out in buckets.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of times people think that, you know, they start on a program and they get, you know, feeling shitty and their bodies get overwhelmed, and they, you know, in some cases get quite sick. That is just a measure of the toxins that were in you that are getting pushed out, and it's your body getting rid of it, and that does require some effort. So you can't expect to spend a lifetime filling your body full of poison and it's gone in 5 minutes and you feel great about it. No, that's not how it works. No pain, no gain. Now,
I had something I wanted to bring to your attention too. I'm not sure if you're aware of this yet, but Miranda just posted a picture on my wall.
I was just going to announce that right now.
Yes, please, everyone,
yeah,
send energy to Miranda. Her dog is gone missing. She says, anyone in Sherwood Estate area of Tunbridge, did I say that right? Tunbridge Wells, Kent?
Yep, you got it.
Please help my dog Ruby, was lost today at 4 p.m. and at the back of the, here, you say it, Kate. You probably know those names much better than I do.
She was lost today at 4 p.m. at the back of the Odeon Cinema near the Wincanton Yard. She could have been anywhere from the industrial estate, Greenway and Gregswood, right up to Blackhurst Lane, and even as far as Pembury, and I hope to God not near the A21. That's a major highway, by the way, guys. She ran off after a deer. Please be on the lookout. Many thanks. TW685957. That would be your tag. She is a mainly black dog with a striking white head and a funny little black hat on top of her head. She has very distinctive eyes, one blue one and one brown one. Please look out for her. She is 14 months old and shaped like a sheepdog, but a bit smaller. Many, many thanks. Ruby will be home momentarily, hun. Universe says so.
And anybody listening, her picture is on my wall, the first post, and I'm assuming Kate's on your wall too.
It's on my wall too. So on my Facebook, if you want to get to it, kate.rene.5, kate.rene.5. And yours, Cyndi?
I'm sorry, say that again. My Facebook is just Songbird, I believe. My name is Cyndi Leberman, Lebermann. First name I spell Cyndi. Or you can just go to facebook.com/songbird, and the O is a 0. So let's just send her lots of love and hope that Ruby gets found awfully quick.
Yeah, it won't be too long. And I just made area code 77584 number live. I'm assuming that's you, Tom?
It is. Hi, guys.
Hi, Tom.
Hi. I'm just typing away at, I'm just getting to the calls of action part, and I've already got everything else done. And on this document, I tried to get it knocked out so I could attach it. Everybody could see it, but it's not going to. It's not quite ready yet. I don't want to send anything out there without it being absolutely complete, because people have a tendency to jump the gun, and we don't want that to happen, especially when this is so powerful. This is
so powerful and so important. You definitely want to make sure you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's.
Well, at least
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, from the perspective of the spirituality, Tom, once you have manifested into the universe, it's already here. And this is the one thing that I will be drilling at until everyone gets it. You have already changed the world with your thought. The physical manifestation that comes after is only it being put into action, and it is perfect every single time. You changed the world, so thank you.
Well, that's good. Now I want to see some evidence of the change.
Well, isn't it interesting to note that I got an email today, right after our show the other night. Let me just, I'm going to bring it up, and it's just a little